If you had the power to make a change in the world, what would that change be?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show.
Well, good morning and welcome to this week's Tiff and Tony Show. Tiffany, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am well. Yeah, it's a stunning day and things are going exceedingly well right now. So I'm happy. Yeah, it's been a while since you and I got to chat because there's been lots of interviews. And I think just to let the audience know, we're going to keep those going because we think they're very beneficial to our listeners. But let's you and I chat today. What have we got on the cards to chat about?
Yes, I like it. So we're kind of ending our fiscal year as a nonprofit, and we're also rolling into summer. Summer solstice is coming in. So we thought it was a great idea to talk about goals and goal setting and maybe give some tools as to how to help us all do that, do it better, and see what it looks like.
One of the problems is we typically set a goal and just don't follow through with it, right? It's either because the goal's too big, the goal means nothing to us, it's not challenging enough to kind of pull us in, or it's someone else's goal that we're just trying to achieve for them and we feel that's the important thing to do. That happens a lot at work, by the way. You get these goals set by your boss and you think, well, I've got to do that because that's what's expected of me. So we're going to talk today about making goals that stick and that you can stick with it and you can go through it and they mean something to you. So tell me, how do you go about setting goals? Tiffany, what's your process?
That's a great question. So I do first start with a lot of reflection and figuring out kind of, okay, like what do I want to do or what do I need to do that's kind of coming up? And then I sort of align those with my values, my morals, my ethics to try to figure out, just like you said, like what is actually important to me? What do I actually need to do? Or what is maybe piecing through an expectation that someone else puts on me? So kind of just figuring out those pieces. And then once I kind of set my mind on, oh, this is what I want to do. This is a goal that I have. How can I reach it? Then I kind of go through this process of setting sort of milestone markers for myself, because I know growing up, I kind of used to just, and I still do this, but when I put my mind to something, I just jump in, and I used to start to feel really overwhelmed because I didn't know how to get there. I would feel stuck and I would start kind of working towards this goal, but then I would be stuck because I would be trying to do something that was way beyond what I could or needed to do right now in this moment. So I like to call them little bite-sized chunks, small victories. You know, there's all sorts of ways that we can name them. And so sometimes, depending on the goal, I will just have a list of like, here's my goal, here's the order in which I need to do things. And it helps me like reduce my anxiety. I feel less overwhelmed because I know that, oh, okay, this next thing, oh, I can do it. And now I have a way to sort of focus on this one little part, and I can start looking into like, what are the resources I need to do it? Can I do it on my own? Do I need help? Do I need to buy something? Do I need to go do something? And I can focus on just one part at a time. And then I don't have to think about all the rest because the rest doesn't matter yet. And then once I get to that part, I can do the next part and do the next part. And I've done that in so many areas of my life, and I don't always do it right. And sometimes, you know, things don't go to plan, and that's okay. And I think that's actually an important piece to touch on. Just because we have a goal and we can make a plan and we can, you know, get these bite-sized chunks, that still doesn't mean everything's going to go to plan. So how do we kind of cope and readjust and navigate the winding road of reaching our goals?
Yes, I love that. Well, you've just stepped nicely into what we're going to talk about today, and that's this whole goal setting that sticks. I have a worksheet, and for those that are interested, email us, and we can make sure that we can put you through a goal setting workshop, something that we do often. And this is normally done over a 45-minute to an hour period, the workshop. But we're going to go over some of the questions that makes you think of this whole idea. And the idea is to figure out your North Star. So where are you heading, right? This is the North Star of your life. And so questions that I like to challenge people to ask is if you could accomplish one thing in your life, what would it be? That's a big one.
Big.
But the idea is to not spend a crazy amount of time on it. You get literally a minute to answer that question, because then that's top of mind. I've just got to get something out on paper, right? And then we go to the next one. If you could make an important contribution to your community, what would it be? Again, just a minute. Set a minute timer, answer the question. If you had the power to make a change in the world, what would that change be, right? And then when you think about the world, what is the most upsetting thing you see? Right? When you look at that, and again, minute, and you write the answers to that. And what you should get out of this, there's more to this, but what you should get out of this is this theme, right? Whenever I fill this out, it's always youth-based. It's always changing things like the juvenile justice system, the way kids are dealt with at school, the way that sports is done in America. And so it gives me my North Star that when I'm setting goals and looking at things, I'm looking at youth-based, sports-based, fixing some of the big juvenile justice problems that are out there. And that's my goal. That's where I go to, right? Which rolls into Pure Game. And then I go, okay, with Pure Game, we're just about to start our new fiscal year. So I need a goal for this upcoming year. Well, for me to do the work that I really need to do, I need to start raising money. So the goal for me this year is to raise $200,000. I've sat down, I've gone through all of this, I've done the budget, I've looked at it, and I'm like, my contribution into Pure Game and making it happen is to raise $200,000. As you just said, before we go there, actually, how do you think about that? How do you feel about what I just said there?
I like it a lot, and I actually have a couple comments. So that process is both big picture, because it's these big questions, and while they're really big picture, they're also really deep. It's these big picture goals that you have, but it paints a picture of your inside passions and the ways you want to advocate for people, the ways, like you said, you want to see change in the world. And so I think, like you said, it creates this theme, and that can help us focus our goals in knowing what to go after, because it helps us basically create our values. Like, what are our values in life, our purpose while we're here on earth? And so that can help us determine, like, okay, what goals do I actually go after? Because we have so many opportunities in our day-to-day life, every week, every month, every year, of things we could do and spend our time and money and energy on. And as humans, we just don't have time to do all of the things that we could or want to do. And so this process, this exercise, really helps us narrow and focus into, okay, now that I know what my values are, now that I know what my passions are, what my heart is after, okay, that can help educate me in actually making the decision on what goals to actually pursue. That's what I like about it.
Yes, that's exactly it. And also the number of goals you set. Sometimes we set like 10 goals. I'm going to go after all of these 10 things. And that's too many. The brain gets overwhelmed and shuts down. So I don't set any more than 3. I don't set any more than 3 goals. And so I've got 3 big goals. One is a new one, raising $200,000 for Pure Game. One is one that I'm actually currently working on, and that's to launch this summer camp program for Pure Game. It's called the Star Sports Program. It's going to be summer and after school programming. And I've got the team kind of pulled in on that one, and they're helping. And then my other one is to launch a professional coaching business. And so I'm going to be a coach. And so I've got the license and I'm ready to go. So they're my 3 big goals. So I've named them, right? And each one I do this. So I'll just take the summer camp program right now. So I want to launch this Star Sports program. So I've named the goal. And then underneath that, I write down, why does that matter to me? Why is that important to me? And so it's important to me because it gets Pure Game serving more kids with the character education, leadership, and sports-based programming. It means that we can hire more staff, so more staff are engaged with Pure Game, and it's an income revenue generating machine for Pure Game as well. So it's important to me because of those reasons. And then I do like a date. I need to put a date on it. When am I going to achieve this by? Of course, this one is July 31st. This program will be up and running. So I get that completion date. Then I think about my goal partners. So who in that goal is going to help me get there? And one of our staff members, two of our staff members, Pete and Christina, are both working alongside me to get that goal to achieve. So that's in there for my goal partners, and I work with them. And then I do what you just said there. I create milestones. Right? It's very important that we create these milestones, these breakdown moments, because when you're creating a new program, Star Sports program, that's huge. The details that go into that is massive. And so we've got to break it down into these little milestones that we can go, all right, the first thing is we got to create a landing page on our website so people can register. Great. We've got to secure field space. Okay, great. We've got to create a pricing point and a budget. So we create all of these little points along the way that we can check in with along the way. And every time I check in, by the way, with a milestone, I'll celebrate. Right? That's how I do. I celebrate because it gives me that release of chemicals that says, yes, I did it. And of course, being English, I celebrate by going down to the local store and buying a Cadbury chocolate bar. Right? I buy a Cadbury chocolate bar, and that's my treat when I celebrate.
That's really cute, actually. and I actually, and I think it's cute because it's you actually celebrate with a physical thing, because sometimes I just celebrate by kind of taking it in, okay, I'm taking a moment to celebrate the fact that I accomplished this thing, or that I'm past or worked through this thing. And I don't actually always celebrate with a physical thing. And I think that's really sweet and cute, and I like it. And maybe I'm gonna start doing it. Won't necessarily be chocolate, but maybe I'll find some way, even if it's just playing with my dogs in a specific way. I don't know. I'll figure out something I like that.
Well, it gives me two things to do there. It actually gives me a break from the office, so I get to drive somewhere and then come back. So that's point one. But then also, a tangible thing that I can now sit down. It's like having a birthday cake every time that I reach these milestones. So milestones, it's important that we break it down. And then there's another thing that I look at, and we call it a daily sacrifice. Every goal that you set should cost you something, right? If it's an important enough goal, it should have a cost to it. In some way, shape, or form, whether it be time, whether it be money, whatever it is, there's something that will cost you. And so you've got to define what that goal will cost you, because then it makes it valuable. This is going to cost me an hour in my day of focus time. So I put my phone away, I put any disturbances or distractions away, and I work on my Star Sports program for 1 hour a day. That's what it costs me. No distractions.
Well, and I think that part is so important, because like you said, that's what keeps it, I forget actually the word used, but in my mind, that's what keeps it a sustainable goal. Because if you attach value to it that's meaningful to yourself, like for me, my goals, and I can share one of my goals. One of my goals has been, by this summer, is to finish certain parts of the build on my van. As some of you may know, I've mentioned before, I live in a van full time with my 2 dogs, which allows me to travel and be in beautiful places like Bend, Oregon, which is where I am right now. And I have not fully built out my van though, which means I didn't have solar panels, a fridge, a vent fan, some really important things to keep me healthy and my dogs safe, especially with the heat of summer coming. And it was really stressing me out, and I felt so overwhelmed because it's such a big project and electrical, and I've got to change some things in my van that it's a lot of work, and I was feeling very overwhelmed. And I'm finally being able to chip away at it little by little, and it feels really good. So getting my van ready means a huge sacrifice, because it means me being stationary in one place for longer than I had previously wanted to be. It means a lot of money, a lot of time, both personally researching, working with the person that's helping me, physically doing the labor and learning how to do the process, because that's a huge value of mine, is learning how to do things, not just letting someone else do it for me. And so it's a giant cost for me. And also it's so important because my health and the safety and health of my dogs and my quality of life is very valuable to me. And so, yes, there's a cost to anything we do in life. There's a cost to your morning coffee. There's a cost to hanging out with your friend. There's a cost to really good things. There's always a cost, whether it's, like you said, time, money, energy, whatever it is.
And I think if we put that up front, know what this is costing us, it can help us actually look at that goal and say, is the goal important enough for me to go through the cost of that? So that's important. Now, this is slightly different to the milestones, because the milestones are celebration times, right?
Yes.
And there's also parts of the project that must be complete. So this is for your van, well, parts of the project is I need to watch YouTube to understand how to install that. I need to make sure I go to the store to buy all of the parts. These are all of the bits that you can go down with, right? And then as you're doing the parts of the project that you're doing, there's also a really fun part here, which is why you gamify it and you keep score. So what you do is, I did X today, check it off, and you kind of keep score along the way. And so if you've got 10 things that you're keeping score on, you can actually track that through little check marks along the way. When you get to the 10th one, go celebrate. Check 10th one, go celebrate. And by keeping score and gamifying it, it does a lot to the brain to keep it active and engaged, because you're waking up in the morning and going, oh, I need to go put that check mark back in that box again. And so I need to make sure I put time into it. So that's how you make goals sticky. That's how you stick with goals, right? That's how you make it happen. These are all little bits of goal setting that can help you get there. You do it naturally. You've already said that at the beginning of this, which I think is awesome. But I think too many people just jump into a goal and go, oh, that seems like a good idea. And away they go. And no one is there to help break that down to make it manageable and sustainable. And so people don't stick with it, they drop out.
It's hard because sometimes we can get really excited about good things without realizing the cost, or without realizing if it really is valuable to us. Because I can be excited about a lot of things in life that I'm maybe not actually that passionate about, but I can still celebrate. Maybe it's because it's someone else is doing things like that. But when I actually focus and realize, oh, I'm like deeply passionate about this, or this is really important to me, or I need to do this for a specific reason, like health or safety or whatever, it's a game changer.
It is. And that's what we want to help our kids understand, that, right? We want to help them, our listeners and viewers of this. We want to help you understand that goal setting shouldn't be overly complicated. And goal setting shouldn't be something that you just kind of go, oh yeah, I think I'll go do that, because I will guarantee you won't stick with it. And so if you follow these simple steps, find out your North Star, go through the steps of this goal setting process, you'll make more happen, and it won't be as hard. It won't be such a labor for you to make this stuff happen. These are proven principles. They work. I know they work. And it makes you stick with them. And like I said before, anyone who is interested in receiving some of this content in more detail, I'm happy to put on a workshop and help you work through all of these steps and this process. We'll actually include some of the links to some of the forms that we've got, so they've got that, and you've got that content that you can go in and do yourself. But if you want help, we're here to help. We want you to succeed.
Yes, we do. Well, I think that is a perfect way to end. I love that we've finally had some one-on-one time on our Tiff and Tony show. I look forward to more. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your chocolate.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day, all.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you so much for joining Tony and me in this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. We hope you feel encouraged and motivated to keep growing with us. If you like what we do here at Pure Game, one of the best ways you can support us is by liking and sharing this video with your friends on social media. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel using the button directly below this video on YouTube, and you can donate at our website, www.thepuregame.org. And with that, we'll see you right back here next week.